Ever wondered who the greatest traveler in history was? Many might say Marco Polo, but what if I told you there was another explorer who traveled 3 times farther, visiting over 40 modern-day countries across 75,000 miles? His name was Ibn Battuta, and his journey is one of the most incredible stories ever told. Forget everything you thought you knew about medieval exploration, because today we're diving into the life of the man who truly saw the world. Born in Tangier, Morocco, in 1304, Abu Abdullah Muhammad ibn Battuta was a scholar from a family of Islamic legal judges. At the age of 21, he set out on what he thought would be a simple pilgrimage, the Hajj to Mecca. He said goodbye to his family, expecting to be gone for a couple of years at most. Little did he know he wouldn't see his home again for nearly 3 decades. His initial journey was supposed to be straightforward, but an insatiable curiosity and a deep thirst for knowledge turned his pilgrimage into the grandest tours of the 14th century world. His first route took him across North Africa. Traveling by land, he joined caravans to stay safe from bandits. This leg of the journey was tough, fell ill, but was so determined to reach Mecca that he had to be tied to his saddle to keep from falling off. Along the way, he studied with renowned scholars in cities like Alexandria and Cairo. He was fascinated by the pyramids in the Nile, and his detailed descriptions give us a vivid picture of Egypt during the Mamluk Sultanate. In Cairo, he was advised to take a longer, more scenic route to Mecca, which was a piece of advice that would change his life forever, sparking a desire to see as much of the Islamic world, or Dar al-Islam, as possible. After completing his first Hajj in Mecca, Ibn Battuta didn't turn back home. Instead, his journey truly began. Traveled through Persia and Iraq, visiting cities like Baghdad, which was still recovering from the Mongol invasion a century earlier. He described its magnificent bathhouses and colleges, but also the ruins that spoke of its former glory. From there, he sailed down the East African coast, visiting the vibrant trading port of Mogadishu in modern-day Somalia. He was amazed by the wealth of the local sultan and the city's bustling markets, filled with merchants from across the Indian Ocean. He continued south to Kilwa, in present-day Tanzania, which he described as one of the most beautiful and well-constructed towns he had ever seen. Impressed by its sophisticated architecture and wealthy elite, his travels then took him north again, through Oman and the Strait of Hormuz, before heading towards Anatolia, modern-day Turkey. He was welcomed with incredible hospitality by the fledgling Turkish beyliks that would later form the Ottoman Empire. He marveled at their piety and generosity. It was here he had one of his more peculiar travel experiences, joining a caravan of a Byzantine princess who was traveling to her hometown, Constantinople. This gave him a rare opportunity to visit the capital of the Byzantine Empire, a Christian city that few Muslim travelers of his time would ever see. Hagia met the emperor and was awestruck by the magnificent Hagia Sophia, describing it as a church that the human tongue is incapable of describing. But Ibn Battuta was far from done. His next great adventure took him across the vast steppes of Central Asia. He joined the caravan of Aziz Beg Khan, the ruler of the Golden Horde. He was fascinated by the nomadic lifestyle of the Mongols, their mobile tents, and their unique customs. He even traveled as far north as the Volga River, experiencing the short summer nights of the northern latitudes. From there, his ambition grew even grander. He wanted to travel to India to seek employment with the Sultan of Delhi, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, who was famous for rewarding foreign Muslim scholars with immense wealth and high positions. The journey to India was perilous, crossing the treacherous mountains of the Hindu Kush in Afghanistan, where he nearly died in a snowstorm. Upon arriving in Delhi, his reputation preceded him, Sultan, known for his generosity, but also his extreme paranoia and cruelty, appointed Ibn Battuta as a qadi or judge. He lived a life of luxury in Delhi for several years, but it was a gilded cage. He witnessed the Sultan's volatile temper firsthand and lived in constant fear for his life. Finally, an opportunity to escape presented itself when the Sultan appointed him as an ambassador on a diplomatic mission to the Yuan court of China. This was his ticket out. The expedition started with immense wealth, loaded with gifts for the Chinese emperor. However, disaster struck almost immediately. Their group was attacked by rebels, and Ibn Battuta was robbed and left for dead. He managed to survive and catch up with his party, only for their ships to be destroyed in a storm off the Indian coast. Now stranded and with nothing to show for his mission, Ibn Battuta was too afraid to return to Delhi and face the Sultan's wrath. Instead, he decided to continue his travels. He spent time in the beautiful Maldives Islands, where he once again served as a judge and even married into the local ruling family. However, local politics soon made his position difficult, and he was forced to leave. He then traveled to Sri Lanka to visit the sacred Adam's Peak before finally setting his sights on China. He sailed through Southeast Asia, visiting Sumatra, before landing in the bustling port city of Chuanzhou in China. He traveled further inland to cities like Guangzhou and Hangzhou, which he described as the largest city he had ever seen. His accounts of China are fascinating, though some scholars debate whether he saw everything he claimed, as his descriptions sometimes blend first-hand experience with hearsay. After 24 years on the road, Ibn Battuta finally decided it was time to go home. He journeyed back, only to learn that his parents had passed away during his long absence. But even then, his wanderlust wasn't fully satisfied. After a short stay in Morocco, he embarked on two final journeys. He crossed the Strait of Gibraltar to visit Andalusia and Spain, which was then partly under Muslim rule. His final, and perhaps most challenging expedition, was a trip across the Sahara Desert to the Mali Empire in West Africa. He traveled with a salt caravan, describing the immense heat and the dangers of the desert. He reached the capital of the Mali Empire, a center of great wealth thanks to its gold trade, and met its powerful ruler, Mansa Suleiman. He was intrigued by the local customs, which were very different from what he was used to in the rest of the Muslim world. Finally, in 1354, at the command of the Sultan of Morocco, Ibn Battuta returned to his homeland for good. The Sultan was so impressed with his stories that he commissioned a young scholar, Ibn Juzay, to write them all down. This collaboration resulted in the book, A Gift to Those Who Contemplate the Wonders of Cities and the Marvels of Traveling, more commonly known as the Rihla, or the Journey. Without this book, the incredible story of the world's greatest traveler might have been lost to history. Ibn Battuta's journey wasn't just about distance, it was about connection. He wove a web across continents, connecting diverse cultures and people through his shared faith and unquenchable curiosity. He showed that the world in the 14th century was far more interconnected than we often imagine.